My name is Baljit Singh Gandhi. Whether I would be able to do this or no.
Baljit ji started from scratch.
And I looked at this tattoo of mine which said Nirbhav, which means fearless. Oh, I'm already missing every moment that I spent on this ride. that day I realized that anybody ahead of me or behind me, and when I used to look at them fall, I used to get a little shaky, and I don't think there is anything I would want to erase.
Age is just a number. Dreams don't die in middle age. It's never too late to pursue your passion or follow your dreams. Think again. Hi, I'm Bhavesh Cheda from MotoMasti, and today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Baljit Singh Gandhi, for our first podcast of MotoMasti. He, at the age of 56, took a bold decision to pursue his passion for motorbike touring, and he proves that it's never too late to follow your dreams. Baljit ji, along with his friends, joined us on a 14-day incredible journey to Kashmir. All of us went on a bike tour to Kashmir to explore the green valleys. We tackled some thrilling roads which were not only treacherous but one of the most dangerous roads in the world to Killar, Kishtwar. And we also conquered the formidable Sach Pass. Hello Baljit ji, welcome to MotoMasti podcast.
Thank you, Bhavesh, for having me on board.
It's an honor to have you here. Your journey has been an inspiration to many, especially people who are looking at motorbike touring at the age of 50. Let's dive into your story and discuss more about your unwavering passion for motorbikes and travel.
So my name is Baljit Singh Gandhi, and been into business the last 30 years, manufacturing perfumes, cosmetics, and deodorants, air fresheners. That's probably taken and occupied most of my life journey. Busy with that, and my biking goes back to 1984 when I joined college, 11th standard, and used to have a couple of friends who would come on an RX 100 Yamaha and do the wheelies, which excited me a lot. And couple of guys on the Enfield 350 or the Electra, which was then available. I used to come back home and speak to my father about it sometimes. And a father being a father, made sure that on my 18th birthday I was gifted a TVS Suzuki.
So it's amazing to hear about Baljit ji's experience going way back in 80s. So Baljit ji, can you tell me that how did you come across this idea of motorbike touring and taking a decision to join for a trip?
So the passion was always there. So around 3 years back, I bought a Meteor 350 for myself. After all this while, I never thought about riding, but just decided to bring in a 350 for myself for city rides. And then a very close friend of mine, Rajesh Asrani, whom we did lovingly call him Raju Mama. So Mama ji was the one who inspired me when we were having a chat with each other. He did this Leh Ladakh trip in the car with his entire family. So I was watching the pictures. I decided to go for a trip to Leh Ladakh, and me and my wife, just the two of us went on Leh Ladakh trip. On the way to Leh Ladakh and exploring Ladakh, I saw so many bikers there, and that was the trigger where I realized, okay, this is something that I've been wanting to do and has not been done. And my only contemplation was my age, my diabetes. So I was just thinking whether I would be able to make it. But I took the plunge, came back, spoke to Rajesh about it, and he showed me pictures of his Nepal trip.
Yes.
That was very inspiring, and that's where I saw you guys motor through the waters and the off roads, and it got the adrenaline rush in me that I need to do this. One of my bucket lists needs to be fulfilled, and I called him up and told him, the next time you go for a ride, please inform me.
So thank you Rajesh Mama for inspiring your friends. जनरली इंडिया में सबसे पहले जो रेजिस्टेंस आता है वो फैमिली से कि जब भी हम लोग कहते हैं कि आई एम गोइंग ऑन टू व्हीलर एंड बट ऑब्वियस इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द सेफ्टी. So Baljit ji, can you tell me how did you convince your family about this trip?
Oh, they didn't need to be convinced. They were more than happy that I was following my dream.
Lucky you.
My mother was a little skeptical. She kept saying, think about it. But my wife was very supportive. My son was very supportive. My daughter was very supportive. Uh, they always said that, Dad, you need to live your dreams. One life, do whatever you want to do. So I guess that was very inspiring.
So it is always said that family is the main support system. So it's lucky that you have such a supportive family, and it's actually said that you only live once. So why not try everything? So Baljit ji, also can you tell us and tell the viewers that how did you prepare for this trip?
I was not aware of the brands and how to go about it. I think you were instrumental in helping me through this. And I did a lot of Google, try to figure out what and which is a good brand to start with. I had a couple of friends used to ride, called them up and took their viewpoint. And then it was you who guided me a lot. We went out shopping together. You helped me shop together. And that's about it. You're the man who knew it all. And that's how I got my information regarding the gear.
So it's my pleasure, Baljit ji, and let me tell you all that Baljit ji started from scratch. Uh, he bought the riding jacket, he bought the riding shoes, he bought the gloves, he bought a very good helmet. He initially told that should I just buy a basic helmet, but I insisted that you go for a good helmet, and especially with him since he wears his turban, and I didn't wanted him to feel claustrophobic or uncomfortable while riding. So a lot of time, many people make a mistake, buying a basic or a mediocre gear, not really investing much on that. And you all need to understand, first of all, it is your safety, and second is comfort. What's the point of going for a long ride and you're uncomfortable? And we were, riding for many hours at a stretch and for many days. And the ride had been a little rough at certain places. So I really appreciate people like Baljit ji who have invested in the gear and have made use of that gear. So Baljit ji, I believe you decided to rent a bike. So can you tell why did you come to a decision to go for a rented bike, and how was your experience with that?
I have a Meteor 350. So I guess once I had the information from you guys that a lot of off-roading is going to be there.
Right.
So I thought Meteor 350 with whatever research I did and the discussions we had, I thought the ground clearance for a 350 wasn't good enough to go through those, off-roading. So that's how I started looking that I don't own a bike which is good for off-roading.
Right, because Meteor is a cruiser bike.
Correct.
So I think you were looking out for something which was meant for adventure.
Absolutely. And with my height, I could afford a bike which is a little higher on the higher side of seating. Arrangement would be a little higher. And then I zeroed down on a Himalayan. Initially, the plan was to fly to Srinagar and then ride from there. But then we thought the number of bikes available and the quality of bikes available would be better in Chandigarh because a lot of people take bikes from Chandigarh to go to Spiti Valley or Leh Ladakh. So we zeroed down on Chandigarh, and plus my friends Mustafa and Yusuf wanted to visit the Golden Temple. So we didn't want to come straight to Srinagar. We wanted to the first ride go and seek blessings of the Lord and then start the journey. So we decided to choose Chandigarh as the destination to land, pick up the bikes from there. So we chose a Himalayan. I was on a Himalayan. My other friend was on a Himalayan, and then two classics were taken on rent over there. My experience for a bike which is on rent is you need to first thoroughly look into the bike, ride it, take your test ride, click your pictures so that you're not later on, accused of having gone through an accident and you're charged heavily on them post the ride. So ideally, you need to check the brakes, the clutch, uh, the balance of the bike. If all is well, the tires. If the tires are tubeless tires, then you're lucky if in case you're choosing a bike which doesn't have tubeless tires. And preferably, if it's your own bike, then I think that's the ideal situation to do because I saw you guys on your KTMs, which you guys chose to road from Bombay, right from Bombay to all the way to Kashmir first. So that was your first leg. But preferably your own bike. I would say not a very good decision to rent a bike unless your sourcing is very strong. You know the person well, and you're sure that this is going to be a top class bike given to you for your ride. You don't want to be caught up in the hills somewhere.
Right. So I think listening to Baljit ji's experience about renting the bike. So what happens is that, of course, it's very convenient to rent out a bike, but a lot of people have rode this bike. So what happens is that the maintenance, or the way the other people have used the bike or probably abused the bike, is what we don't have control. So maybe if you're lucky, and if the person who's uh, you know giving this bikes on rent has maintained well, or probably we know them very well, maybe it would be an advantage. But yeah, even what we do is we usually try to transport our own bikes, and probably that's probably we are attached to that machine. We share that kind of relation and rapport when we know how much we can push our machine. But yeah, if somebody who doesn't has a bike, or probably doesn't has that possibility to transport, or drive or ride all the way till the destination, maybe renting would be a good choice. But as Mr. Baljit said, that just thoroughly check the bike before starting your trip. Click some videos and pictures of that
Correct.
bike, so that you're not falsely accused while returning the bike. So I'm sure you all will agree that हर एक दोस्त जरूरी होता है. So Baljit ji, how did you manage to pull in your two childhood friends for this trip?
Okay, so Mustafa and Yusuf, very very close friends of mine, who do these morning rides, go for breakfast, and then they usually would put in a message to me to join them for the ride. But somehow I was not in the right frame of mind to go there. I didn't have the gear, and I was a little lethargic, lazy, not to go on those one-day trips. And somehow I felt the one-day trip would not justify what I was looking at. I wanted a full-fledged adventure trip. So that one-day trip was not giving me the high or the kick that I needed to do this. So when this came up from Rajesh, when he mentioned a 14-day trip, that got me engrossed into the whole thing. And I called up Mustafa and Yusuf. These are my childhood friends who school together from standard first. So I called them up and said, "Yes, Aisa, we planning to do this. Would you guys like to join?" And they jumped on the occasion, the opportunity given to them as well as us. And I also wanted to be in that comfort zone that I didn't know you, I didn't know the rest team. So I felt if in case I had people whom I knew, it would be easier to ride, easier to understand, easier to spend time by the time I would get accustomed to you guys. So
So I
that's
think
how it
Baljit,
all started.
you came in with your gang
Yes,
in our group, and I think gradually with passing days, this group became like a family.
absolutely.
So Baljit ji, my next question is, how was it riding in a group?
Yeah, it took a little while. I think one couple of days we had to get used to your speed. You guys were amazingly fast because I think you almost done 200,000 kilometers of riding already prior to this journey. So I guess it was a little time we took to get accustomed. Gustu was a little slow. I was in between. So, I think it took a little while, but it finally settled in. And we came up with our inhibitions of saying that keep somebody behind us so that we are on check. And Avijit did a wonderful job guiding us from
Yes,
their
yes.
location. You were the lead over there. And I guess Rajesh Mama was always in between. So I think you're taken well care of and taught how to ride amongst the experienced riders.
Um, yeah, so Abhijit and Lokesh, we have been riding since 2014, and we have covered, I think, more than 2 lakh kilometers so far, and probably covered more than 70% of India on bike. So yeah, so how was it? Also, can you tell us that riding with experienced riders?
Oh, it was wonderful because there was so much to learn from you guys, especially on the turns and how the turns were taken. Uh, how do you support yourself? Your inner thighs come into play while turning. So all those tips were given to me by you guys. I think it was wonderful to experience this. I was not aware that these are also the little tricks that can be brought into play while you're riding. That has been wonderful, absolutely wonderful learning.
And I think Baljit, it was also a learning experience for three of us, because we understood the true essence of riding in a group, where we were a team. Maybe a couple of times we were riding faster, but then we also enjoyed being together. Special thanks to Abhijit, who was there supporting right behind, and Lokesh were leading and trying to figure out the road. But I think after 2 or 3 days we started having that sync of riding together. And there you can check our Kashmir video series where you will see some shots where all riders are riding together, and it was a sight to see that. So you feel that different strength. A lot of time we saw the convoy of military going, and we felt that
Absolutely.
when we were riding in a group, we felt like a convoy of
Absolutely.
riders going
Correct.
together.
That's the beauty of the ride.
Exactly. So Baljit ji, what are the challenges that you faced during the trip or while riding?
I think the most important thing that we realized on this trip was that we need to be connected.
Absolutely.
And I guess we had ordered the intercoms which did not arrive on time, so we were a little devoid of everybody being connected. So apparently, a couple of you guys were connected, four of you all were connected. I and Mustafa were connected on a different device altogether, but it was not the same mesh connect
Frequency was
frequency, so we were a little different. We realized that it is very important to remain connected because if you have a turn on the right, आगे जाकर everybody's not got the navigation
different.
and internet issues. So it is very important that we are connected. Finally, we found our spine when we just spoke, and when you guys took the lead, and Abhijit was always behind because you guys were connected.
Right.
So we had one person behind who was supporting the entire team. So we found our way out, but that was a challenge. I think that is one thing that every rider, every team, every these tours that we do, we need to be connected.
Yeah, so very true. With the evolving technology which is coming in, we have this intercom device which are fitted in our helmets, and we can be connected with each other. Even the range is good enough, which goes up to almost a kilometer. But unfortunately, in our this trip, we were on different intercoms where the frequencies didn't match. But I think what got us together was the orthodox sign language that we used to use
Oh
with our
yes,
hands, and that I think kept us going,
correct.
and that kept us connected together. So yeah, intercom device is a must accessory which every rider should have when going in a group or traveling in a small or a bigger group. So, Baljit ji, can you tell us which was your favorite moment or favorite thing about Kashmir or about the ride of Kashmir?
Now, my favorite was the challenge from Killar to Shitwar to Killar, where I fell couple of times and got up and rode again. And that day, I realized that anybody ahead of me or behind me, and when I used to look at them fall, I used to get a little shaky and jerky about my own ride.
Your confidence
Yeah,
used
my
to.
confidence used to shake. So the next day morning, when did the Sach pass, I decided I will take it hands on. And I looked at this tattoo of mine which said Nirbhav, which means fearless. So I took it head on that day, and I said I will lead. And I think if you remember, I was way ahead than everybody.
Yeah,
So that
I
was
think.
a challenge that I self challenged myself that I will not fall. I don't need any help. I'm going to do this on my own this trip. So those 40 kilometers was absolutely in the head, in the helmet, all on my own, and talking to myself. And I tried to manage that, and that was very inspiring. And once I finished that 40 kilometers and reached Sach Pass, it was an amazing feat to be there.
So I think with your personality, Nirbhav or fearless goes with it, and very true that you learn from your mistakes. You don't give up. It's all about when you fall, you learn what you have done wrong. And Sach Pass, he was the first one to actually reach there. And trust me, Sach Pass was difficult. But hats off to him the way
So I
you
could
did
do it
that.
only with tips coming from Abhijit, Lokesh, you guys, the experienced riders who explained to me why I had the fall. So I think that helped me a lot do such pass so easily.
And when you did, you mentioned about Killar Kishtwar. So were you aware that Killar Kishtwar was considered to be one of the most dangerous
Oh,
road in
I
the
was
world?
a little aware, and then the rest I was watching on YouTube, but it gave me goosebumps whether I would be able to do this or no. But I met a friend who said, "Ke bus, people hang their boots when they do Killer Kishwar. That is the last ride, a biker's last ride. They hang their boots, starting with Killer Kishwar. So that again was playing on my mind whether I would be able to do it. But thanks to you guys who were there for immense support, and we managed to do this. And for me, for my first ride, going through these off-roads was a tough ask, but God bless, it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience.
So yeah, unfortunately, the cliffhanger route at Killar Kishwar was closed. It's closed permanently, but they have made an alternative route, which I think is equally dangerous and equally treacherous. And yet, some part of the route is yet under construction, making it all the more treacherous.
Correct.
But Baljit ji, Yusuf ji, and Mustafa ji, they all did it amazing. And hats off that, from those good roads and long journeys, we started getting into off roading, which we did at Bangas, and graduated to Killar Kishwar and Sach Pass. And I think they did it very well, although, maybe they had this small little falls, but it didn't break their confidence, nor it broke their bikes. So, Baljit ji, what will you miss about this ride to Kashmir?
Oh, I'm already missing every moment that I spent on this ride. It was an amazing experience being on this, and I think we explored the interiors of Kashmir, and haven't seen Kashmir the way it was,
Yes.
what we explored. There was no Sonmarg, there was no Gulmarg, there was no the choicest of places which we've been so far in Kashmir. So Gurez Valley was something new. Bangas was something new. Karen was absolute and treat to be there to watch that place as well. I remember everything is registered so well. I don't think I'd want to forget anything on this trip.
So, it is true that uh, Kashmir is Jannat
Absolute.
and one of the best place, and I think we did a lot of unexplored part of Kashmir, and I think that is the true Kashmir what ideally we have done. So tell me something which you would actually like to erase or forget about this trip.
I don't think there is anything I would want to erase. Everything is either a learning or is giving you some kind of experience. So I don't think I would want to, because it has been a wonderful trip. Even those little smiles of the children whom you guys had thought about bringing in a little pencil gift set for the children we gave. I think that was so good to see the smile on the children's faces when they got those little things. So I think it was a wonderful gesture, and the whole journey has been amazing. I'm looking forward to more of this with you guys, but that whole journey has been very amazing.
So Baljit ji, it is respect from all of us and hats off that at age of 56, you did this trip with the treacherous roads of Killar Kishwar and Sach Pass, and overall, you didn't let your limitations or challenges come in the way. And I think you're an inspiration for all of us. So we would like to tell the viewers that any suggestions or any advice, because there are a lot of people post 40 or 50s who also want to travel and go for motorbike tours. So any suggestions?
So I think most important, keep your medicines with you. Make sure that you continue with your medicines in spite of all the adrenaline rush that you have when you're doing these rides, and don't think too much about it. If you think too much, you will make sure that you do not, you will restrict yourself. It's important that take the plunge, go for it without thinking, and you'll be able to do it much better.
So it is, I think, always said कि सोचेंगे तो कब करेंगे.
हाँ,
I think just do it.
correct.
And taking that plunge just reminded me of our Nepal trip. That when we had done the bungee, I think it was just matter of just jumping, and the moment we did that, we felt liberated. So I think anyone who's just thinking or how would they do this and कैसे करेंगे, कब जाएंगे,
Correct.
I think it is never too late. As our podcast is about follow your dreams, it's never too late. So all of you all, people like him are inspiration. Just follow your passion, just do it. And I think this motorbike touring and travel is one of the best passion what we share,
Absolutely.
and which gives us happiness and pleasure. So Baljit ji, it was pleasure having you on the set,
Thank you, Bhavesh.
and
Thank you so much.
we are hoping to have a lot many more rides and memories together.
Correct.
And you keep inspiring more and more people with your zest and aura that you have.
Looking forward to many more.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So to stay tuned with us for a lot more content coming with our podcasts and reviews and travel videos. And if you like this kind of content, please share our channel with others and subscribe to our channel so that you will be updated with a lot more content coming up.